All the
So many
Europeans
names.
are jumping in immediately. Starmer's there this morning with Zelenskyy. The King's going to be seeing Zelenskyy. So last week they were all courting Donald Trump. This week they're all rushing off to court Zelenskyy. What's
And
going
you're right,
on?
that's the irony for Zelenskyy, is that Trump had just met with the French, he'd met with the British, he'd met with the Polish. So Trump was set up, having been sympathetic towards Europe. There was no need for Zelenskyy to now go in and poke the bear. And if he wanted to talk about the importance of security and all that Putin had done in breaking ceasefires, he could have talked straight to the media rather than taking the discussion to JD Vance and taking them on. And that's the other interesting thing about this. You've now got a White House that will not be pushed around. Could you imagine Kamala Harris rather than JD Vance? Could you imagine Biden and all
Well, they'd
world
just be
leaders?
writing checks.
Exactly. But now all world leaders are on notice. You go to the White House, you don't want to be foolish because they will not tolerate fools, which may be a reason why Anthony Albanese's not visited yet.
Oh, well, no, that's a great point, James. And it is a disgrace that Albanese has zero relationship with Trump. Not surprising, but still a disgrace.
Maybe it's the best.
Penny Wong, and I mean, we are just so on the nose with the modern American world, the new Pax Americana, if you like, the new world of Donald Trump. We are just nowhere to be seen. I hope all that changes when Peter Dutton wins the election, which he's going to do in a few weeks' time.
But this also goes to that speech, that groundbreaking speech we've spoken about on this program so much, that JD Vance gave in Europe.
Yeah.
Yes.
There
Free
is
speech.
a political realignment. Again, many political analysts may not like it. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. This is the reality. America is now an America First approach. They do not want to support endless wars overseas. They do not want to have values that are in line with the European elite. They're not for open borders. They're not for green climate madness. They're not for all the cultural stuff,
European
as well as
socialism.
the New Age European socialism. There is a divorce happening there, and again, this is something the American people voted for. Whether you like it or not is immaterial, and the polling on this has been very clear. It's not just the Trump election.
And it's not really all that surprising, James, if you consider that in Europe they had gone down the route of net zero, which is basically just socialism, climate change. They've deindustrialised the great industrial nations of Europe, Germany and France and others. They've deindustrialised themselves. They're reliant on the US for military support and cash. They're reliant on the Russians for energy. They're socialists. They've got open borders that are destroying their welfare states. The complete antithesis to every single Donald Trump policy. So no wonder Donald Trump looks at them with absolute horror and and I think this is what the message from the White House yesterday was: Europe, you're on your own. Take it away. You know, your problem. You either do it the American way or we're out and you can sort this mess out.
That was JD's message, wasn't it? Why would we spend billions of dollars supporting people who don't share our values?
Precisely.
And again, I go back to Anthony Albanese. He's got a problem because his values don't exactly align with the Trump administration. And Anthony Albanese does not want to be embarrassed on the world stage. He ought to tread very carefully, I think.
Well,
Well, he
in
came
direct opposition to Trump, I would say, everything that Albanese stands for.